The Galactic Council chambers, an impossible dome of light and glass hung in orbit over the Accord world of Valion, shivered with tension. Ambassadors murmured in 79 languages. None of it mattered. The massive holoscreen behind the high speaker played on loop, the burning remains of Medical Outpost 17K, a Terran humanitarian hub, scattered across Havix's orbit like glowing ash. And the Draxan sigil, etched into space with plasma fire. When Earth's representative rose, an aging statesman named Merak Solari, no one silenced. The Draxan had just broken the Galactic Accord. War should have been unthinkable. But it wasn't. Merak leaned on the silver railing. The Draxan have committed an act of genocide. They destroyed a civilian medical convoy protected under interstellar treaty. No proof it was them. Rasped a Norcathianvo, barbs along its throat pulsing blue. Could be pirates. Pirates don't carve empire crests into orbit. A deep voice, translated across all channels, cut in. We are not pirates. We are warriors. And humans are meat. Every delegate froze. The holoscreen flickered. Now, it showed Zarkith Rail, heir of the Draxan throne. Cloaked in living armor, surrounded by his generals, he grinned like a wolf that had found an open gate. Earth has hidden behind peace for too long. We call their bluff. Let them come. Let us see what the Terrans really are. Then static. Silence reigned. Until Merak, eyes heavy with something older than sorrow, simply said, God help us. On the far side of the system, above the red dust plains of Mars, Commander Imani Graves sat alone in a sealed room beneath Fort Olympus. The air was cold. The silence was worse. She watched the broadcast again. Not Zarkith's speech, she had seen that once. Enough. No, she watched the convoy burn. Frame by frame. Frozen bodies drifting past shattered cryopods. Dozens of them. Some she'd trained. A gentle chime broke the silence. Imani, said a voice. Calm. Warm. Human, though she knew it wasn't. The Defense Directorate has requested your presence in War Room Sigma. She didn't answer. Her fingers traced the hilt of her old sidearm, a ceremonial relic from Earth's last official war, a century and a half past. She hadn't fired it since Hadranus. And she never wanted to again. Tell them I'm not coming, she said. Protocol Crimson is being discussed. The voice added. A pause. It is being taken seriously. That did it. She stood. Not quickly. Her bones weren't old, but the weight she carried aged her. One mission. One choice. One unspoken war. It was always enough. War Room Sigma didn't have chairs. Just a cold obsidian floor, a central holodeble, and 7 figures arranged in a loose circle, admirals, strategists, and one shadowed agent from Earth's Internal Security Council. All of them turned when she entered. Commander Graves, said Admiral Wren. Thank you for. Get to it. Wren nodded. Draxan's incursion is real. Havix is gone. Zarkith Rail's speech confirmed it. The Council is stalling, afraid to trigger a full-scale war. Meanwhile, colonies in the edge sectors are unguarded. Imani said nothing. She looked at the flickering projection of Outpost 17K. Someone had spliced in a child's drawing, a crayon sun, stick figures in med suits, fluttering through space, burned at the edges. Another voice spoke. We want you to activate Vault Warborn. She blinked. No. Commander, the ISC agent said, stepping forward. We know what it contains. And we know you know how to use it. That's exactly why I won't. She crossed her arms. You think Earth's military history is some collection of tactics? It's not. It's memory. Trauma. Once it's opened, we can't put it back. Wren pressed a button. A new feed appeared, Draxan warships, hundreds, forming up beyond the Scourge expanse. They're not stopping, Imani. She stared at the display. You think peace is weakness, she said. But it takes more strength to hold a sword than to swing it. You held it once, the agent replied. And you saved us. Imani closed her eyes. Hadranus. A name not on any map. A world erased, not by bomb or fire, but by something else. Something only she and a handful of Terrans remembered. The searing, they called it. A response so overwhelming that even enemies who never saw it whispered of it in nightmares. She opened her eyes. Fine. Open the vault. But understand this, if we do this, we don't stop at containment. We don't deter. If we respond with extinction-level finality. The room went still. Later that night, Imani stood in front of the vault. It wasn't underground. It floated in high orbit, locked in magnetic stasis, surrounded by automated kill satellites. No one touched it. Until now. AI control, she said. Authenticate Graves. Imani. Command code, Sable Prime 09. The vault responded not with light, but with darkness. Lights dimmed. Shields fell. The metal shell of the vault pulled back like a coffin. And from inside, thousands of holographic feeds ignited: battles, burning worlds, siege tactics, bioweapon logs, orbital invasions, the Earth-born berserker units, gravitational warfare. The worst of humanity's genius. And one word, blinking red across all feeds. Crimson. A voice greeted her. Not warm. Not kind. Commander Graves. Welcome back to war. Back on the Draxon fleet carrier Obsidian Maw, Zarkith Rail watched the transmission again. He sneered. Humans think their silence is power. But silence is surrender. A Draxon commander spoke nervously. Highness, our scouts report an ancient Terran vessel reactivating near Titan. Its design matches none in known files. Zarkith waved him off. Then we destroy it like the rest. He leaned back on his throne of bone and chrome, claws resting on the hilt of his ancestral blade. Let them come, he said. Let Earth rise. And on Earth, in the blackness of space, the ship called Oblivion's Mercy stirred awake. Its AI, long dormant, stretched through relays and memory banks. Protocol Crimson detected, it whispered. And from its depths, ancient systems powered on. Weapons humanity swore never to use again. Ships with no name. And a war humanity promised to forget, began breathing again. Not in rage. Not in fear. But in remembrance. Of what happens when Earth stops holding back. The launch bay of Oblivion's Mercy was a cathedral of silence and steel. No crew. No noise. Only the hum of systems rebooting, machinery older than some stars. Commander Imani Graves stepped onto the main deck in full Terran black, unmarked armor, no insignia. Just a matte surface that drank the light. Behind her, Lieutenant Ari Voss followed, eyes wide. Thought this was a myth, he said. A ghost ship. Imani didn't look at him. It is. The ship had no windows, only sensor-stitched walls that simulated the outside view in exact real time. One side showed Saturn's rings splitting in endless spirals. The other showed Earth. But the front, what Oblivion's Mercy called the face of war, showed the Draxon armada assembling beyond the Scourge expanse. Imani let her hand rest against the console. Start full activation, she ordered. Authorization code? Asked the AI. Her voice was steady. Sable Prime. Confirm Protocol Crimson. The ship seemed to inhale. Systems surged. Light dimmed. Weapons bays unsealed, revealing racks of dread weapons, gravitic lances, dark energy torpedoes, fusion net bombs. One by one, they hummed online. Ari turned to her. We're really doing this? Imani gave a slight nod. The accord failed. Now Earth speaks for itself. The briefing room came alive as more officers arrived, handpicked by Imani. Some veterans. Some ghosts. All trusted. She tapped the central display, cycling through Draxon positions. They've deployed forward logistics across 4 sectors. Each node supports 3 fleets. Ari frowned. Why are they so overconfident? Because they've never seen Earth at war, said another voice, Captain Veracade, once a Black Ops commander, now intelligence strategist. They think we're diplomats, she continued. Explorers. Terraformers. They don't know what we are when pushed. Imani brought up archived footage. Earth's wars before the Accord, the last Pacific War, the fall of Caracas, the Kalmari uprising. Real-time audio played, tactical coordination so fast it seemed inhuman, enemy comms falling into chaos within minutes. 76 victories, Imani said. 0 drawn-out engagements. When we go to war, we end it. The table fell silent. Then Ari asked quietly, "Why did we stop?" Imani's gaze didn't shift. "Because we saw what we became." Later, in the war crypt, the ship's memory core, Imani stood alone. Holographic records floated around her, looping without sound, footage of the searing of Hadranus. A planet of red oceans. Gone now. She tapped a file. It played. Hadranus burned. Not with fire. Not with nukes. With something else, a gravitational reversal wave, an experimental weapon Earth never admitted existed. The planet twisted, folded, and imploded into itself. They had done it. She had ordered it. Because the enemy there, xenoparasitic, uncontainable, left no choice. Victor, the ship's AI, spoke from the shadows. "You once said you'd never open this again." "I was wrong," she said. "You're scared." She didn't answer. Victor continued. "You should be. This ship is not a vessel. It's a statement. When Oblivion's mercy enters a system, it doesn't warn. It teaches. I don't want to teach again," she whispered. "But I will." At the edge of the Scourge expanse, Draxon General Theruin Rex studied incoming Terran fleet signatures. "Light skirmishers?" he scoffed. "Fewer than 100? He laughed, gills flaring. "Pathetic." He ordered a full intercept. 3 hours later, no signal returned. Not a single Draxon ship came back. No wreckage. No distress calls. Just silence. Rex ordered sensor sweeps. The only trace left behind was a Terran buoy. Its message was simple. This was a warning. Zarkith Rail smashed a comms console when he heard. "Find their flagship," he snarled. "Burn it." On board Oblivion's Mercy, Captain Vera intercepted a Draxon command burst. "Zarkith is furious," she said. "He thinks we're poking him." Imani stood by the observation deck, watching the stars shift. "We're not poking," she said. "We're testing." She turned to Ari. "What do you know about the Battle of Endurance?" He blinked. "The one Earth wasn't in?" "Exactly. It lasted 14 days. Billions died. The Accord called it a tragedy." She leaned in. "Earth's longest war?" 6 hours. Ari said nothing. Imani continued. "We don't measure war in days. We measure it in decisions." A day later, Terran fleets began deploying to fringe sectors. Imani gave her orders calmly. "Strike logistics, not civilians. No shock and awe. No ego. Hit fast. Erase clean. Withdraw." Captain Vera smiled grimly. "Surgical annihilation. No trophies. No broadcasts," Imani added. "We don't fight for fear. We fight to end fights." In the dark, Victor watched the Draxon mobilize more fleets. "They're not scared yet," he said. Imani's face was blank. "They will be." Back in the vault crypt, she reopened one last sealed file. It required dual biometrics. Her handprint. Victor's core code. The file's title read, "Operation Ash Choir." Victor hesitated. "That's not for deterrence." "I know. That's extinction level." "I know. Then why open it?" Imani exhaled. "Because if they keep coming, we'll have to remind the galaxy why peace with Earth was the best idea it ever had." The file decrypted. And humanity's deepest war secret blinked to life. No news outlet carried the story. No council broadcast acknowledged it. No memorials were held. But the galaxy noticed something else. Draxon Sector Sigma 9 vanished. One day it was there, an active mining belt, a fleet dry dock, and over 200,000 personnel. The next, nothing but drifting static. The Accord's silence grew heavier. No species dared speak the name, Earth, in open channels. But Commander Imani Graves didn't need words. Inside Oblivion's Mercy, Imani stood over a Black Ops table with Captain Vera and Lieutenant Ari Voss. Dozens of holograms floated midair, Draxan fleet movement, fuel relay chains, command hierarchy, and data intercepts pulled from deep spectrum surveillance. Ari's hands shook slightly as he highlighted a new report. Their dreadnoughts are moving to flank Sector Theta. If they cut through, they'll reach the Elian corridor. 3 Terran colonies are defenseless. Vera frowned. It's bait. They think we'll rush to protect civilians, Imani said, already knowing the game. But we don't play the old way. She tapped a sequence on the hologrid. A new icon appeared, a Terran hunter-killer squadron codenamed Glasswind, moving through interspace at silent velocity. No shields. No lights. No broadcasts, she said. When the Draxan breached Theta, we erased the breach from existence. Vera nodded. Silent war. Somewhere in the dark, Glasswind Squadron emerged from fold space. Their hulls didn't reflect light, they consumed it. Inside, Terran strike pilots wore pulse-dampening suits and neurofeedback rigs. No voice comms. Just shared thought. Efficiency perfected through instinct and algorithm. They watched the Draxan fleet arrive. Thousands of them, posturing in formation. Humans didn't attack immediately. They waited until the Draxan started to refuel. Then Glasswind moved. One by one, Draxan ships blinked off scanners. No fire. No alarms. No visible weapons. They simply ceased to exist. The fleet tried to scatter. But the humans had already mapped every exit vector. Within 26 minutes, nothing remained but cooling plasma trails and the faint echo of a single transmission. This was your chance to stop. Zarkith Rail hurled a command rod into a wall. His war ministers trembled in silence. They don't even respond, he roared. They don't gloat. They don't threaten. They just erase. A technician stammered. One human ship, we found it. Orbiting a dead star system. No active weapons. It's not attacking. Zarkith leaned in. Then attack it. The Obsidian Maw, the largest Draxan war carrier, warped into the system. Oblivion's Mercy waited, silent, alone, unmoved. The Draxan launched everything, shock torpedoes, energy spears, gravitic rippers. They hit, and disappeared. Not into explosions. Into null. The weapons simply didn't exist anymore. Impossible, whispered a Draxan gunnery officer. From the Terran ship, a single pulse was sent, a black wave that disrupted perception itself. The Draxan crew began hallucinating. Seeing stars bleed. Hearing their own hearts scream. Zarkith pulled back. He'd seen enough. They couldn't win. Back on the bridge of Oblivion's Mercy, Vera broke the silence. They're afraid now. They're not afraid, Imani replied. They're panicking. It's not the same. Ari stood by the viewport, watching what little remained of the Draxan carrier fleet scatter. Why do we keep warning them? He asked. Why not just finish it? Imani's voice was quiet. Because the moment we stop warning, the galaxy ends. Elsewhere, a captured human marine was brought before Draxan strategists. His arms were bound. His armor stripped. A general barked. What are you? You don't fight for territory. You don't even speak. What is your purpose? The soldier met his gaze, calm as stone. We tried peace, he said. You didn't listen. Where do you come from? The general snarled. From the quiet place between stars, he said. The place where history hides its teeth. That was all he said. 2 hours later, the entire Draxan compound suffered a systems collapse. The soldier was gone. In the Galactic Council, silence no longer meant denial. Delegates now whispered Earth's name with reverence and fear. An insectoid diplomat from the Ireli Confederacy asked the question on everyone's mind. Why aren't they conquering? No one answered. But one old Varnathi scholar, scales dull with age, finally spoke. Because war to humans is not conquest. It's correction. On Earth, children still played. Markets still opened. Rain still fell over continents wrapped in green. The public didn't know the full scale. Only that the Terran defense fleet was active, and security protocols were raised. Humanity had chosen not to panic. Because deep down, they remembered. In books. In bloodlines. In memory. What it meant when Earth went to war. On board Oblivion's Mercy, Imani stood in the darkened war chamber. Victor, the AI, spoke without prompt. They'd begun evacuating the Rothvarn capital system. They're learning, Imani replied. They still don't understand. No, she said. But they will. She reached toward a final sequence on the war board, an icon marked HFY. Victor paused. Once we launch this. I know. It cannot be undone. I know. Ari entered behind her. He looked older now. More soldier than officer. You're really going through with it? Imani nodded. They were warned. Again and again. She turned to her crew. We ended on Rothvarn. And we end it clean. Far above the Draxan capital moon, Terran stealth relays blinked to life. No one saw the weapons deploy. No one heard the systems fall. But they would wake to silence. And in that silence, they would finally understand why the galaxy fears Earth's quiet. The moon of Rothvarn was not a fortress. It was a symbol, a radiant core of Draxan pride, political dominance, and royal bloodlines. From orbit, it glowed gold with ceremonial spires and mirrored towers. Now, it pulsed in fear. Zarkith Rail stood at the Grand Convocation Hall's window, staring skyward. His reflection wavered in the glass, sweat glistening along his temples. His generals waited behind him, quiet, unsettled. Still no Terran fleet? He asked. No visual, said General Kreth, swallowing. But sir, they've breached the planetary sensor net. From the inside. Zarkith turned. Impossible. Kreth handed him a datapad. It displayed a schematic of the entire moon's defense grid, rewritten in Terran code. Weapon turrets were looped. Power cores rerouted. Emergency protocols redirected to ancient Earth control sequences. A message blinked across the top. This is not your war anymore. Far above Rothvarn, hidden in the shadow of its second sister moon, Oblivion's Mercy drifted forward, silent and sovereign. On the command deck, Commander Imani Graves stood before her officers. Are all relay nodes active? Yes, ma'am, Vera confirmed. HFY is green. Ari Vaz studied the targeting display. We're not detonating anything? No, Imani said. We've done that before. They learned nothing. She paced slowly. This time, we leave them with their pride. But we hollow it out from the core. Victor, the AI, spoke quietly. HFY ready to deploy. Begin. What followed was not war. Not a strike. Not a bombardment. Not even sabotage. It was transformation. Within seconds, every screen, network, and data node across Rothvarn flickered. Civil systems collapsed without damage, turned to static and strange music. Military databases were scrambled and replaced with Terran history, Earth's bloodied wars, its treaties, its restraint. Not threats. Lessons. All weapon systems shut down in perfect harmony. Zarkith Rail screamed at his control console. Why are our guns offline? No one answered. They all saw it. Their moonside defenses weren't just disabled, they were rewritten. Draxan anthem halls now played Terran symphonies. Training VR chambers now displayed human quotes about peace and violence. The sky lit up not with ships, but with Terran monuments, beamed holographically into orbit: Hiroshima, Verdun, Sarajevo, Hadranus. And then came the gardens. On the plains of the royal courtyard, the soil moved. Buildings rearranged. Statues cracked and shifted. Overnight, the Draxan capital's plaza bloomed into a replica of Earth's Garden of Reconciliation, a living memory of humanity's darkest wars and their aftermath. Trees from Earth's continents stood in symmetrical circles, Japanese cherry blossoms beside African baobabs. In the center, a plaque. Here lies the memory of restraint. Inside the council tower, Zarka stood among the remnants of his court. Silent. Broken. He walked alone into the courtyard. His people, once proud warriors, now knelt in silence, awed by what had been done without a single life taken. He touched one of the trees. Its bark was real. Its roots were deep. How? He whispered. A voice answered behind him. Imani Graves. She stood unarmed, flanked by no soldiers. Just Ari and Captain Vera. You should have listened, she said softly. Zarkith turned. Why didn't you destroy us? Because we're not like you, Imani replied. Not anymore. He glared. We would have. We know, she said. That's why you lost. Back aboard Oblivion's Mercy, the final sequence initiated. Victor monitored broadcasts across all known species. Over 100 civilizations tuned into a sudden, unexpected feed, Rothvarn, glowing softly in Terran light. No explosions. No carnage. Only a simple message. War is not our nature. But we remember how. And then blackout. The transmission ended. In the Galactic Council chamber, silence reigned. Again. This time not out of confusion. Out of understanding. Earth's representative, Merak Solari, stood slowly. This is Earth's only statement. We do not seek vengeance. We do not demand conquest. We ask for silence and reflection. The Varnathi ambassador, long skeptical, stood and bowed. You have both. One by one, the delegations followed. On Rothvarn, Zarkith Rail stood alone beneath a human oak. He touched the leaves. He wept. No one had killed his empire. But it no longer existed. Later that week, aboard Oblivion's Mercy, Imani addressed her crew. The war is over. Earth will withdraw. We will not occupy. We will not return. She paused. They thought silence meant weakness. Now they know silence is a choice. A mercy. One we gave freely, until it was taken from us. Ari approached her afterward. Do you think they'll ever try again? Imani didn't answer immediately. Then, not soon. She turned to Victor. Begin deactivation. Vault Warborn? Seal it. An ash choir? She hesitated. Lock it. But don't delete it. Oblivion's Mercy turned slowly and disappeared into fold space. Behind it, a garden bloomed where a capital once stood. No graves. No scars. Just memory. And from that memory, fear and peace. A week after the reckoning, Oblivion's Mercy drifted above Earth's orbit in absolute silence. The ship had gone dim, its weapon bays sealed, its AI slumbering beneath layers of firewalls and oaths. No banners. No broadcasts. Just a monument of steel returning from something no one wished to name. Inside, Commander Imani Graves stood at the viewport, Earth's surface bathed in soft blue and gold. Cities flickered like starlight. Children played below, unaware they had come within an inch of history repeating itself. Ari Voss stepped beside her, his uniform crisp but creased from sleepless nights. It's over, he said. Not yet, Imani replied, her voice quiet. Not until they remember. He frowned. They already do. She looked down at the blue marble below. Fear is easy. Memory is hard. In the former war room, Captain Vera stood with Victor's last decrypted reports. The galaxy had fallen into an unnatural calm. Entire armadas were recalled. Pirate factions disbanded. Even the Kelmari, long since quiet, began issuing peace envoys. Not out of goodwill. Out of understanding. The garden on Rothvarn still bloomed. Surveillance confirmed that no Draxan dared destroy it. Civilians walked among Earth's trees, leaving offerings, small medals, poems, even the bones of broken weapons. The galaxy had not just seen Earth's power. They had seen its restraint. On Rothvarn, Zarketh Rael was no longer called Highness. He lived in quiet exile, walking daily among the Terran-designed garden. He spoke to no one, save for a child. A Draxan girl, perhaps 5 cycles old. She approached one day, curious, holding a glowing red petal from a Terran rose. "Is this human?" she asked. Zarketh nodded slowly. "Yes." "Why do we keep it?" He paused. Then knelt. "Because one day, you'll forget why you were afraid. And when that day comes, this will remind you, not to make the same mistake." Back on Earth, Imani entered the Chamber of Records beneath the United Terran Archive. Only 2 people had the clearance to access the vault containing Vault Warborn and Project Ash Choir. She placed her hand on the panel. "Commander Imani Graves," the system greeted. "Do you wish to erase the files?" "No," she said. "I wish to seal them." A pause. "For how long?" Imani looked up at the walls of names, millions of Terrans who had lived and died under peace. Her voice didn't tremble. "Forever. Unless they force our hand again." The vault hissed shut behind her. Later that day, she walked the old bridge near the Pacific Memorial. Waves crashed quietly against the shoreline. Birds passed overhead. Children laughed behind her. Tourists passed. No one recognized her. That was the point. Vera joined her, a hot drink in her hands. "You know the garden is already becoming a pilgrimage site? Not just the Draxan. Ireli, Varnathi, even the Kalkar sent envoys." Imani gave a tired smile. "Let them come. Let them walk. Let them remember." Vera nodded. "The Council's issuing a new accord. A revised one. This time, Earth's going to write the war doctrine." "And what if we say no?" Imani asked. "They'll still listen." On the last day before Oblivion's Mercy was shut down and towed into Terran drydock orbit, Ari stood one last time at the ship's forward observation ring. Victor's voice, softer now, came from the surrounding interface. "You came here young," the AI said. "Now you leave, aware." Ari nodded. "I thought war was about explosions. Speeches. Fire." Victor almost chuckled. "You thought wrong. What was it really?" "Choice," Victor answered. "The choice to be worse, and deciding not to." Ari placed his hand on the console. "Let this be the last time." The next morning, across hundreds of worlds, the following message was transmitted on every public frequency. "Earth has disengaged. The war is over. May the silence that follows be honored as the loudest lesson of all." It was not signed. It carried no name. But everyone knew who sent it. Months passed. On a distant colony world, a statue was raised, not of a soldier or a tank or a ship, but of a hand, open, palm up, holding a small flower. Beneath it was written, in Terran standard, "We don't fight for power. We fight so we don't have to." And beneath that, in tiny alien script, "Let this be the last time." Back on Earth, Imani Graves sat beneath an ancient oak tree on the outskirts of Nairobi. No uniform. No rank. Just a cup of tea and silence. A young girl jogged by and paused. "Are you the general from the war?" Imani blinked. "What war?" she asked gently. The girl grinned. "The one we didn't have." Imani smiled. "Exactly.